Thanks for coming online for our very first office hours webinar. If you could just, put your name and where you're from, where you're dialing in from, your organization, anything you want to share, put it in the chat over on the right. I'm going to do the same. I'll say hello. I'm dialing in from Kennesaw, Georgia. Steven from outside Chicago. Thanks for being here, Steve.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Don't be shy. Who else we got on board here? As you come in, just say hello over in the chat. Really excited that you're joining us today. I know what it means to kind of take a little bit out of your day to join a webinar. I know how busy you guys are, so we really appreciate you being here. We're going to start really with some introductions, just to tell you a little bit about who we are, and I'll talk about what we're gonna talk about today. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Ronald Pruitt, president and founder of For a Good Cause. For over 25 years now, I've helped nonprofits raise money online, first as a web designer, marketing consultant, now as the CEO or president of For a Good Cause. If you don't know, For a Good Cause is a simple and affordable fundraising CRM for small nonprofits. We specifically specialize in monthly giving, and we'll certainly be talking about some new features for monthly giving. Joe from Birmingham, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you being here. I'm going to introduce Steven Wanderski. He is our lead developer. And Steve, I think you said we kind of been working together almost a decade now. Is that right?
Yeah, it's just about nine years. I checked the code base.
Yeah. So Steve is the reason that For Good Cause is secure, stable, easy to use. It runs. It's why we can run For Good Cause as a small team, because it just plain works. Best business relationship I've ever had. One of the better relationships outside of my wife and kids. I'm going to put you way up there, Steve. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure working with you.
That's some pressure right there.
Yeah. Feel free to share anything else that you want to share about yourself.
Yes. Well, thank you. And feelings are mutual. Obviously, we don't work with someone this long if you're not working well together. I've been coding for most of my life, probably about 20 years at this point. I focus mostly on Ruby on Rails, web development, among other things. But yeah, like Ronald said, about 9 years strong here. I do most of the building, and the system has remained relatively stable for this past 10 years. Outside of For a Good Cause, I work on some personal digital products, open source plugins, mostly things to help other developers, since that's what I know best. But For a Good Cause is my most proud, thing I've ever worked on, and probably will be. It's a great, pleasure to tell people what I do for, this is basically my full-time job here, and helping nonprofits raise money for charities is, I can't think of a better, thing to be a part of. So, I'll send it back over to Ronald here.
Appreciate that, Steve. We're glad that you're on board with us. So, what are we going to talk about today? What is an office hours webinar? It's really, it's our chance to really connect with our clients, our followers, people that are kind of paying attention to us, so that we can show you new things that we're working on, things that you might have missed in our platform, things that would be really great for you to take advantage of in For a Good Cause. So kind of what we'll do today is we're going to talk about some things that are new in the platform. Then we will, one of the big things that's new is the addition of Google Pay and Apple Pay, which you can add to your e-commerce pages with us. So anytime, this is kind of the first of a series of webinars. We'll always kind of have one big thing that we want to focus on today. That's going to be Google Pay and Apple Pay. If you stick around to the end, questions, we'll be taking your questions on this, anything else that we talk about, and we'll give you an opportunity to, just give us some feedback as to, what you think we should be working on in the product. So certainly stick around for that. On the chat side, on the right there, you can drop any questions as we go. If you do want to share, where you're from, who you are, feel free to do that. This can be a networking session, a chance for good cause clients to meet one another. So first thing that we want to talk about, or I want to mention, things that are new here for good cause. You may have noticed that we launched a new brand in March. So new logo, color scheme, tagline, all of that. If you've had a chance to see it, if you like it, or you want to give some feedback, put that in the chat. This is not really just a kind of a pretty face, new face on For Good Cause. It's really an opportunity for us to, really talk to our clients about our, bigger product focus that we have now on recurring monthly donations. Why monthly giving? It's really a game changer for small nonprofits. It gives you that recurring, reliable revenue that allows you to plan, that gives you, that safeguard against downturns in the economy. You're raising money every single month. You can budget off that, plan off that. This is something that donors want. This is convenient. This is how they give, to other nonprofits. This is how they're dealing with companies in the for-profit world. Everybody has a Netflix subscription now. They want to give to you in that same way. This is also something that makes it easier for your nonprofit staff. So if you're having any type of burnout, frustrations in your fundraising, this can be something that makes life easier for your nonprofit. I'm going to drop a link here to our recent blog article. It really talks about, how monthly giving can help solve some burnout issues that you may be having in monthly giving. So feel free to click that, have that, later to read. This is something that, we think monthly giving is so beneficial for small nonprofits. It's why we're focusing on it. And we certainly think this is something that you guys should be looking at in more detail as well. So hope you like the new brand. Hope you've had a chance to check it out. You've probably seen it in the app as well, on our website, on our social media channels. So hope that you'll check that out. You'll let us know how we're doing there. All right, let's talk about some new features in For Good Cause. So we've been very busy here during the spring. Steve has been putting together a lot of new things for us. So we're going to kind of just go through these. I'm going to show you the little new support widget that you may have noticed inside your nonprofit admin. I'm going to go over some new emails and alerts that we have that focus around recurring monthly giving. And these are emails going to donors. These are also alerts going to nonprofit staff. Steve's going to talk a little bit about some of the kind of back end enhancements that we've made recently that we really do all the time. Constantly doing a lot of stuff on the back end that you really don't ever see. So I'll let him speak to some of that, and then we're going to go into depth about how to implement Apple Pay and Google Pay on the donation pages and the event registration pages that you might have with us. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to jump in. So you should see that I'm sitting in the For Good Cause kind of dummy account here in our interface. Let's just start with the support widget. So this is, you may have seen this in the nonprofit admin. It's down here on the right, the little green circle there. This is just a quick way for you to click that, and you can get to our knowledge base articles, all our help articles, videos, step-by-step guides for you to get help on any question that you might have as you are using for a good cause or as your donors are using for a good cause. You also can send us a message, send us an email here as well. So we've always had the little help link up in the top right that popped out to our knowledge base, but this is just another way for you to contact us or find some help there. One thing that we always stress to our clients is we always want you to reach out if you have a question, comment, feedback, feature request, whatever it is. We want to hear from you. So this is just another way for you to do that. So something simple that we dropped into the platform for you there. Next thing that I want to go over is I want to talk about these new emails and alerts that really revolve around recurring monthly donations. So again, that's a big focus for us. Over the past year, we've built in a ton of features and functionality to enhance that anything from our new donor accounts to a lot of back-end stuff of how we deal with the payment gateways, really making the sign up and the retention of monthly givers much easier. We got a lot more that we want to do over the next year. So what we've done recently is some new alerts to donors. The first one being the what we call a failed payment alert. So I'm going to go over to my email. And so first up, I want to show you that you as our nonprofit client have always gotten a notice when a recurring monthly donation has failed. And it would look like this. You get the failed donation alert, and it would tell you the donor's information and information about that particular transaction that did not go through. And that maybe didn't go through. Insufficient funds, maybe they have a new card, maybe they have some type of security warning on their card. There's lots of reasons why a card might fail, but you've always gotten an alert about that. Now we have an opportunity to automatically send a notice to the donor as well. So this is a little sample here. You will sometimes we will do demos with the Bruce Wayne Bat Sanctuary. We try to have a little fun here with some of our demo style nonprofits. I can't speak for Steve, but I'm pretty nerdy, so these are the type of things that make me laugh and make me
big
happy.
comic book guy over here. Yeah,
absolutely, yes. So you'll notice a subject line. It says, "Uh-oh, your recurring donation payment failed." And then we will include your logo. We'll do dear first name, and then we will, thank the donor for their continued support. We always want to lead with a thank you. We then are letting them know that transaction failed, giving them a few reasons for that. We ask them to update their payment information. We let them know it's only going to take a few minutes. And then we link them into their donor account that they have with you guys through us to make that update to their payment method. We give them some contact information. We outline a little bit about their donation. We again thank them for their ongoing support, and we make this email will come from you guys as a nonprofit. It will come from the email address that you guys designate in your donor account. That is always configured under account and for good cause. And it's that donor support email. So that's where it comes from. So when a donor gets this email, they click this link to go to their donor account. I'm going to go ahead and go to that. It's going to put you on the page after you log in to where we list that recurring donation for that donor. So they can see, the amount they're giving, their payment method, that type of thing. And then it shows them, we basically putting another reminder inside the donor account when you get here that your most recent payment failed. We need your continued support. Please update your payment method to continue your recurring donation subscription. What we're trying to do here is just retain this donor. We don't want this donor to churn involuntarily, because maybe they didn't even know that their card was having any issues. This alerts them to that and gives them the ability to take action to fix that. So they can click edit donation, and then they can update their card information. I'm going to do that here. Now, this is a dummy card. You can't take this to Walmart. Sorry, Steve. Once they click save card, then you'll notice that the flag goes away. They've already taken action on that, so we don't need that banner there anymore. I'm going to go over to my email. So first off, and this is new, is that you guys will get an alert really anytime a donor makes any update to a recurring subscription inside their donor account, and it will let you know what has been updated. So this letting you know here that the payment method was updated, and it includes the last 4 digits of that. In addition, the donor will get an automatic message to confirm that they made that update. So again, it'll come from your email address, your donor support email, your logo. We're just letting the donor know that your recurring donation has been updated, and we show them the current status there, the current data points on their recurring subscription. We provide some contact information again if they do have questions, and we end with a thank you, of course. So again, you get alerts really anytime a donor makes any type of update. When I, as a recurring donor, just made this update that fixes that in the subscription, so the next time the recurring donation will fire a transaction, then hopefully if the donor has done that right, then that's going to go through. That's going to keep that donor going. So again, really any update that they make, if they change their amount, maybe they change their amount by taking advantage of our little Grow Your Impact banner, where we're asking them to increase their impact by 10%. In this case, that's adding an extra $2, and the donor can do that with a simple click. Again, you're going to get an update about that. And this time we show the amount upgraded from 15 to 17. So it's just going to allow you to keep track of the updates, and you'll kind of get a sense of what donors are doing. You also, even if a donor is in their system here and they decide that they need to cancel, which of course we try to talk them out of here in the donor account, but they do have the ability to go forward and do that. Changes that status. And again, we have alerts that will go to you as a nonprofit that this recurring donation has been canceled by the donor. It gives you the details of that. And then we also send a "we're sorry to see you go" message to the donor. Again, this will come from your support email. We are just emailing the donor to let you know your recurring donation has been canceled. We have valued your support. We hope you'll keep us in mind the next time you're ready to give again. So it's really just about saying, hey, we're sorry to see you go. We really appreciate you. We hope that you'll give again. We ask for feedback, so that'll straight back will come to you guys, not to us. This just kind of has my dummy information in this example. And again, we end with a thank you. So all these alerts and notifications, these are all readily available to you. There is one dependency. It kind of depends a little bit on how you've configured your payment gateway. So if you are on Stripe, there's nothing that you have to do. These alerts are already working for you. If you're on authorized.net, you may need to come into your settings, into payment gateways, find your authorized.net gateway, click to edit, and then just see if you have everything filled in, because we have some new data points that basically have enabled this type of communication that we can do between For Good Cause and the payment gateways to do alerts to donors in this way, to check for failed transactions, all the back and forth communications that we want to do. So we do that through something called webhooks. And to move your account into using webhooks, you have to have the signature key from authorized.net plugged into your record here. And as I'll talk about later, when Google Pay, you also need the payment gateway ID. For most of our legacy clients, you may only see the login ID and transaction key listed. That'll tell you, oh, I need to update my connection to For Good Cause. We have a very simple, less than 2-minute help article on how to do that. I'm going to drop that into the chat here. Oops. Go back to this. We may get a little picture in picture as I do that. I'm going to drop that in there and then pop back over here. So we're enhancing the alerts. This is going to help you retain more monthly donors. You're giving donors an opportunity to take action on what you're doing, and you get alerted when there's an issue. That should tell you to reach out to that donor and take action. Work with them to get that new card information and get that updated on the system. All right, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Steve, feel free to tell us about anything you've done in these last few weeks here to, as we're doing all the time, just continuously take the behind the scenes, what kind of powers For a Good Cause to another level.
Sure. Yeah, just in this past month alone, we've added quite a few things to help me and Ronald kind of monitor what's going on with the system on a daily basis. So not to get too technical here with things we've added. I got a few points to go over here. We've added some new logging features, mainly around the communication between our system and payment gateways such as authorized.net and Stripe. We do a lot of back and forth communicating with these gateways. And so we've added new logging that kind of shows us more clearly everything that's being communicated between our two systems. This helps immensely when an unexpected thing happens. And we do then have a record of, well, what was said between the two systems. And if we see, this helps us find unexpected responses from the payment gateways, because it's when relying on an external system, it's hard to plan for every single kind of edge case that could happen. So that added logging really sheds some light for us when things come up, and then we can look back and see what was communicated between our two systems. Another thing we've updated is better error logging. So we use a tool called Sentry, which captures any errors that happen in the app in real time, and they're all displayed to us in this tool. We've upgraded it to give us better capabilities of seeing these errors as they happen in real time. And what this does for us and for the users is we monitor it on a daily basis, and as they come up, we're able to diagnose them and kind of triage them, and hopefully, when the first error occurs, we could see it, fix it, and push a fix live so that it doesn't affect other users. So we watch that on a daily basis. We've beefed that up a little bit to show us kind of a little more what's going on with our errors. We've added a tool that helps us monitor all of the background jobs that are happening in our system. We do a lot of processing in the background. That means that it's not happening on the same thread as the donation forms and the nonprofit panel tools. It happens on a different thread so that it doesn't affect the main public site.
Yeah, that's something like a big download of a spreadsheet or right. Something that can just run in the background so that we don't affect the donors, anything like that. Yeah.
Right. Another example is stat calculations. We do that kind of on an hourly basis in the background so that we're not wasting, valuable public resources to, calculate these things.
Mhm.
We've added a nice monitoring tool for this that shows us every job that is either queued or running or has already completed. Now, this, again, like the error reporting, is very useful for us. It helps us see if any jobs resulted in an error. It shows us that if any jobs are building up too much. So that gives us a nice kind of visualization of everything that's happening in the background. So we added a new tool that helps us immensely there. And then finally, we've increased our general server resources. This is things such as memory and bandwidth for our servers as a whole. Again, mainly we focused on increasing resources for the background workers. Again, because so much is going on in the background, we don't want that stuff to ever, lock up or error out. So we've increased resources there. And that also helps the public app run more smoothly, so that everything has enough memory, enough muscle to keep things running smoothly. Also, we do push features live almost on a daily basis, and so the bigger the app grows, the more server resources it needs. So we're always monitoring that. And we just spent a little bit more money on some more server resources so that no user flows ever slow down or lock up or end in an error. So a little snapshot of our little back-end features there.
Yeah, I mean, this is all the stuff that, like I say, it makes makes For a Good Cause easy, secure, stable, fast for the donors and for our clients. I just kind of wanted to bring out some of that back-end stuff that we do all the time. And like I say, it's a reason that For a Good Cause can run with a small team. I think on average, I get maybe one support email a day. That's it. Because this system it's simple, it's easy. All the logging and tracking and all that stuff that we do is that we're trying to make sure that it does everything it's supposed to do all the time. And if it doesn't ever, hey, we jump on it quickly and solve it for our clients. So appreciate all the stuff that you're doing on the back end. So
yeah, and we really do lean on a lot of modern tools, that does provide a small team to do big things. Like cloud servers and cloud database stuff and error reporting and logging. It's all in the cloud. It's all easy to do these days. Therefore, a small team can really execute well.
Yeah, and I always say we kind of mirror our clients because most of our clients are small nonprofits. They're not the international, national nonprofits that have these big development departments and a million fundraisers and stuff. They're small teams, so they use our systems, which are easy to be able to make that work for them.
We like the small teams. We like
the small nonprofits and doing big things. So
exactly.
All right, so let's jump into the big thing. Let's jump into the Google Pay and Apple Pay. So let's talk a little bit about that. So, Google Pay and Apple Pay are basically digital wallets. It's basically a way. It's like an app on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, smart device that stores your payment information. And then when you're shopping online, you can pull from that, and you don't have to pull out your credit card when you're doing the shopping. Basically works, in a donation form scenario that when they click to give, they basically are reaching into that wallet, and Apple Pay or Google Pay is passing a tokenized card. So it's not your real card numbers. They don't have to see the card number. The donor doesn't. We don't at For a Good Cause. You don't through your processor. It's just it's encrypted and tokenized. Then it's handed to the payment processor. So Apple Pay and Google Pay are not processors themselves. So there's no additional cost to you as a nonprofit when the donor chooses Apple Pay or Google Pay to pay. because really all they're doing is reaching in their wallet and handing that card over through that tokenized process. So you're not charged any extra. It is processed just like a credit card transaction. That's how it appears in your payment processor. That's how it appears in your for good cause reports. This is just something else that donors can use, a convenient way for them to pay you online. This is something that absolutely is something that you're going to want to enable on your donation pages, your event registration pages that you have with us. Millions of people are using this on a daily basis. More than half are turning to their digital wallets in lieu of pulling out their card or some other type of payment method, whether it's, Apple Pay, Google Pay. We also support PayPal on the system. I would kind of throw that into this same kind of category, this kind of mobile wallet category. This is something that is just so easy for donors. On a donation form, I saw a study recently that a donor can save about 80 seconds on that donation form by just clicking to access their mobile wallet instead of inputting their card information. So this is something that is going to be very useful. And the easier that you make giving, the more money that you're going to raise. This is something that's going to help you with that. So we want to kind of just kind of share some screens here and just kind of show you what's going to happen for the donor. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to do the Google Pay side. So, all right, let me go to this page here. This is one of our clients, More Water for Africa. So they actually place water wells in Africa, a great organization. Again, another kind of small team that's doing some really big things. So they are the beneficiary of today's webinar. I'm going to make a $5 gift to them. So this is how Google Pay will appear in the list. Basically a little sandwich of list. I could have other things here. I could have PayPal, e-check, Invoice Me. We have lots of other payment options for this particular client. They have Google Pay and debit card, credit card turned on. Now, I see Google Pay here, and I can easily select it there because I'm on a browser or system that has Google Pay enabled. So it's really up to the donor. You enable it in for a good cause, but it's up to the donor whether they will, they can actually use this option. They have to have Google Pay enabled in their browser. I do. I can select Google Pay. This, like all of the for good cause pages, it's got all my information preloaded because I've given here before. If you select Google Pay, it puts the Google Pay button at the bottom. We're letting donors know that you're going to continue forward with Google Pay to finalize your donation. If I click that, launches the little window, pulls my Google Pay information. I click continue to make my donation. It processes that and then pushes me to the thank you screen. And again, it's just processed just like a credit card donation, but I did not have to reach into my wallet to actually input my gift. Really simple stuff. Very, very simple.
Ronald, we have a comment about not seeing
Yes.
your screen.
Yes. Go ahead. Read that to me there. Oh, you don't see my screen. Becky might want to reconnect. Steve, you see it, right?
Yes, I do.
I also see it on. I've got a separate machine going that kind of tells me what donors should see. Becky, you may want to come in and out of the webinar. And again, we are recording this, so if there's anything that kind of doesn't come through, you'll definitely see it on the recording. Did everybody else that's here, are you seeing my screen? If you could put into the chat there. Matthew says yes. Great. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Great. All right. I'm actually going to stop sharing, and then Steve, I'll let you share, and you can take the Apple Pay side.
All right.
Since you are our resident Macintosh guru.
All right. Here is my browser. Yep. See it okay?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Everybody else see that? Matthew says yes. Matthew, you are our go-to. Thank you today.
So now I am in Safari browser. So when you're on a desktop, Safari is the only browser that allows Apple Pay to be used. Although when you're on a phone, I believe Chrome, Safari, other browsers are available.
Right. It's dependent on that. It's looking for an Apple device that has Apple Pay enabled, and then that's what's going to show that to the donor.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So I am on a Mac and I'm on a Safari browser here, and the way it works is it hooks up to your phone via Bluetooth when you're on a desktop machine here. So I'll kind of talk through what I'm doing here. So I'm going to do a $5 donation here. We'll scroll down and just like how Ronald showed there, we just simply click the Apple Pay option.
Yep. And then you can see there that Google Pay is also available on your machine, because you also have Google Pay available on your Apple device. So Google Pay could be lots of places. Apple Pay is really for Apple users.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I've selected Apple Pay here. I've already completed all of my information on here in the form. You will see the button does turn into the Apple Pay logo, so the user knows exactly what's going on as they check out here. Ooh, doing this live. Let me see if I could pass this challenge here.
Smart enough here.
Yeah, see, this is some motorcycle.
You're doing great.
I think, is that it there? Okay. Hey, all right.
I've had you hit this page quite a few times in the last.
Okay, so now we
past hour.
Here's the so first on the screen we see the Apple Pay modal come up, and you're able to select which card you'd like to use for this transaction. Now I am on my phone, and that is having me double click to confirm payment. Does a Face ID, connects right back to your computer, and that's a successful checkout there.
Yeah, so it's pretty easy. I think we are doing it in a very logical fashion, because the donor is completing their gift, and then they're doing the payment step. I have seen I've seen examples on e-commerce stores and lots of places where you will have you'll do the payment step, but then you got to come back and you got to finish things on the form, and it loses the payment stuff. So we're doing it in a very simple, very logical way. The payment step is the last step. It's very easy for them. Pop the window and confirm that in the way that they want to with their method. So it's very easy. Okay, so how do we do this? How do you do this with on for a good cause? How do you turn this on? So it really depends on the processor that you're using. There'll be some prerequisites for each payment gateway or processor that you are connected, your account with us to, either authorized.net or Stripe. One of the things I'm going to do, I'm going to drop in our help articles into the chat here. So this first one is for Google Pay. This is in our knowledge base. I'm basically going to go through the same things that are listed here in these articles, the prerequisites and the steps that you take to turn this on in for a good cause. So everything I want to talk about is in these articles. Anything that's tangential, it's all there. I'm just kind of going to go over the steps with you. So again, how you turn this on depends on the payment processor that you're hooked to in for a good cause. So let's start with authorized.net. So for authorized.net, the first thing that's important is you need to be on a supported processor. So what do I mean by that? So Authorized.net is your payment gateway. It is the software equivalent to like a swipe card machine you might run your card through at a Walmart, for example. So when a donor makes a donation on For a Good Cause, we will communicate to the Authorized.net gateway to see if we should authorize that transaction. And if it does, then it sends us back a transaction ID and approval, and then we will record the donation, fire off the email receipts, the alerts, and everything that we want to do with that transaction. Behind that gateway, you have what's called a merchant account. So behind Authorized.net, they will batch the transactions from that day and then hand it to a merchant account, which will actually move the money from the donor to your bank account. That merchant account runs that money over what's called a processor network. There are basically 10 processor networks that are available out there. Your merchant account provider is the one that places you on this processor network, not Authorized.net. There are 5 processor networks that support Google Pay and Apple Pay, because these processor networks have to be able to handle that tokenized card that comes from the wallets. So Chase Payment Tech, Global Payments, TSYS, First Data Nashville, and North American Bank Card EPX are ones that support it. The ones that don't are Elevon, First Data Omaha, WorldPay, and Heartland Payment Systems. Now, you're probably thinking, how in the world do I know what processor network I'm on? So this requires you to log into Authorized.net, and we have step-by-step directions on how to do that in the help guide. In the Google Pay and Apple Pay help guide, it says if you're on Authorized.net, you can do that. I'll do that just quickly, just to show you that for our own personal account here at For a Good Cause. It sends me my PIN. I'm actually not eligible for Google Pay and Apple Pay. So if I go to where you would find it is you go to account, you go to merchant profile, and then you look under payment methods and it tells you processor. So I'm on First Data Omaha. That's not one of the ones that is approved. So what I would have to do is talk to my merchant account provider and say, can you switch us to a different processor so that we can support Apple Pay and Google Pay as payment options? Okay. Now, if you don't, I didn't share my screen to show that. Hold on. Hold on a second.
There's sensitive data there.
No, I'm not showing anything really. So inside, I logged into Authorized.net. I went to account. I went to merchant profile, and under payment methods, that's where your processor is. Mine says First Data Omaha, which is not approved. Again, I would have to tell my merchant account provider that I am on a processor that's not supported. Would they switch me over to one that is supported? Now, they may tell you yes, they may tell you no. Certain processors can be on, certain merchant account companies can be with any processor, some can't. If you find that you get an answer that says you can't, talk to me and we'll put you with somebody who can. So that's the first step, is being on a processor network. Again, this is for Authorized.net users. Be on a processor network that supports mobile wallets. The second thing that you want to do is what I talked about earlier, making sure that your gateway connection in For Good Cause is up to date. Let me just show that again. That is here. Let's just loads up here. Yep. So you want to make sure that you've got your payment gateway ID filled in and signature key. So I did drop the link to the YouTube link, and that is there in the chat. And this is also linked in the help article for how to enable Google Pay and Apple Pay. The third thing for authorized.net users, and this also applies to Stripe. So, and first, let me say, once you have your gateway connection updated, once you know you're on the right processor, Google Pay is ready to go. And I'll show in just a moment how to enable that inside the campaign, which is the final step. For Apple Pay, you must be approved by Apple to accept Apple Pay donations. And they are working with a company called Candid to do that, which is really the GuideStar database. That's what it used to be called. They have two criteria for you to accept Apple Pay. You must be a 501c3 nonprofit, and you must have a transparency seal with Candid. To do that, you basically need to come to guidestar.org, find your profile, claim that profile, and fill in some information. We have links to the FAQs for that in our help article and for a good cause for how to enable Google Pay and Apple Pay. Again, everything I'm going over is going to be in those help articles for you. If you don't, pass mustard with Apple by being a 501c3, or you don't have that seal of transparency, we would have to kind of disable Apple Pay. It's something that is important for you to have with us, for us to be able to offer it to our clients, is that we're checking that. We'll be checking your status through Candid. This is one of our clients, Big Brothers Big Sisters in Dallas. They have the bronze level seal. That's all you need. That's the lowest level. Really, all you have to do is claim your profile and make sure that you are transparent there and you have that profile. So once you have all that in place, then you're ready to enable Google Pay and Apple Pay in any campaign. It will just appear. So go to In for a Good Cause, go to campaigns, click edit on the right. Under your payment options, once you are configured, they'll just appear. You'll see Google Pay, Apple Pay, check the box and click update. And then those will appear on your form. And then donors that can use those will be able to use that. Okay.
Real quick, those options will be grayed out if the corresponding payment gateway data is not entered.
Right. So if you don't have an up-to-date authorized.net connection, then you might see that it's grayed out. We also put the help articles to Google Pay and Apple Pay right here in the configuration. So you always can click over, if you have questions there, or always reach out to us. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go forward. Let's look at Stripe. Let me pull my slides back up here. So that's authorized.net. If you use Stripe, if you connect for a good cause to Stripe, first off, there are no configurations or prerequisites that you have to do for Google Pay. So Google Pay, a little easier on the Stripe side. Once you're connected via Stripe, I think all of our clients have the most up-to-date Stripe connection. So that's just available. That won't be grayed out. That'll be available in your campaign. You can select that, click update, and you'll have Google Pay on your forms. Apple Pay is another story. Apple Pay is actually more difficult on the Stripe side than authorized.net. So you still have the compliance. You must still be a 501c3. You must still be have that bronze transparency seal with with Apple. Be approved by Apple. That still applies on the Stripe side. But Apple Pay requires us to install a merchant ID certificate from Apple on your Stripe account. And to do this, what you'll need to do is schedule a support call with us. I'm going to paste in a little Calendly link if you want to do that. because we need to be online at the same time as you are, because you need to send us a file, we need to send you a file, and that gets installed on Stripe. Once that file is ready to go, then Apple Pay will appear in your campaign. You have the ability to check that off, click update campaign, and then that'll be available on your forms, and you can enable it on any forms that you have there. So overall, each one has a little bit of different criteria. I think going forward, authorize.net, even though you have to be on the right processor, is going to be easier long term, because the certificates that we have to install from Apple, they expire every 2 years. So it's a process that we just have to continue. You continually have to prove who you are to Apple with Stripe. Authorize.net, we have all that built in. So once you're on the right processor and you're up to date with your connection, you're good to go going forward with Google Pay and Apple Pay with us. Okay. That's the mobile wallets. Questions? Anybody have questions about adding mobile wallets, or really any of the features that we went over today? Anything from anybody? Don't make it too easy on us now. I must have missed something here.
Ronald wasn't that good. Come on.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks. I appreciate that. While you're thinking about questions, I want to just briefly talk a little bit about what's next for us. I mean, we're going to make these office hours a regular thing. I was a little long-winded today. I'll probably find a way to make them shorter. Maybe go a little more often. We'll do it more often, maybe. Go a little shorter with these. But what we're working on next, we've got a few small updates that we're doing in For Good Cause, some things that people have been asking me for a while. Like, we'll have a little more room for text copy on the donation pages. People have been asking me for that for a while. We'll have a little notification bell inside For a Good Cause, so that you can see events that we're having and new features and things. You'll get notified inside the app for that, as opposed to just, following our email news that we send out. What's the other couple little things that we're
Pre-checking.
Pre-checking. Yes. Pre-checking the cover the fees option. I'm still a big believer in having donors opt in to that. But we're going to give you a chance to experiment with that. And then the next big thing that we're working on is some subscription management tools inside For Good Cause. So taking a lot of the recurring donation subscription management tools that you have in the gateways and bringing those down to For Good Cause with alerts and things that kind of show you things you need to take action on for your recurring monthly donations. So I see we got a question, Matthew. My processor appears to support Apple, but not Google Pay. So I need to, Matthew, what is your processor? That'll kind of tell me a little more. So I need to just update my authors.net to connect a Stripe account to enable Google Pay. What processor network are you on with Authorize? Are you on authorize.net or Stripe? Answer that question first, Matthew. Sorry. If you know. Oh, it says authors.net. I'm sorry. Do you know which processor network you're on? I assume you were looking that up in the background while we were chatting about that. Are you on, Elevon, First Data? What are you on? If you don't know, we can chat afterwards. So. Basically, if you find that you're on one of the ones that I went over here, yeah, you need to sign into authorize.net.
I wonder if he means that Google Pay is grayed out for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably what you mean. Yeah. So you'll want to log into authorize.net. Yes. Check to see if you're under any of these 5 processors. If you are, then you should be good to go. You may just need to update your gateway connection in For Good Cause. And
well, if Google Pay is grayed out, we'll need the payment gateway ID specifically.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, so that's step 2.
yeah,
So if you
yeah.
go through our help article, go through this our help article, and you'll see the steps that you need to go through, or just reach out to support@forgoodcause.com. We'll get you taken care of. Yep.
Ronald is available day and night uh,
It's true.
for whatever you need.
It's true. Now, um, before we go, we also want to give you guys a chance just to drop us any feedback. If there's something that you want to tell us right now in the chat, feel free to do that. What's the one thing you wish For Good Cause could do better for you? We always want feedback. We always want to hear what's going on. Any question, comments, feedback. If things are going great, we want to hear that. If things are not going great, we always want to hear that as well. So if there's something that you think we could be doing better for you, put it in the chat here. I'll follow up with anybody who has any kind of question or feedback or anything like that. So if you can't think of it now, send me an email. I'm happy to hear from you guys. We really appreciate you taking the time to be on with us today. Appreciate everybody that stuck around to the end. Again, send us any feedback, anything that you want. Matthew says any development on a mobile app. Matthew, the great thing about For Good Cause is that every single thing that we push out is mobile friendly. So every donation page, every event registration page, the nonprofit administrative portal is also mobile friendly. Every single thing that we do is mobile friendly. So we actually don't need a mobile app because everything that you want to do on your phone or a donor wants to do on their phone, they have the ability to do that. So the donor accounts, everything is mobile friendly. So appreciate that thumbs up, Matthew. Thanks everybody for being here. Send us any feedback. We'll follow our email newsletter. Look for the next time we're doing office hours, or we hope to see you here again. Appreciate what you're doing. Appreciate your business. Appreciate what you're doing in your community. Steve, thank you for being here and for introducing yourself to the For Good Cause community and for
Well,
being
it's
with
my
us.
pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for listening to my ramblings on the technical side of things. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll see you guys next time. Oh, and by the way, I will send out a recording in the next day or two, so look for that as well. Appreciate it, everybody.
All right. Thank you
All
all.
right, see you later. Bye.